Hi everyone. This morning I want to talk about something I posted on Facebook that seems to have gotten a lot of attention. Sometimes after doing this for over 30 years, I overthink things. I tend to forget that there's a lot of people out there that have just been introduced to the freedom model and just been introduced to the idea that they don't need recovery and that they really can move on from this without all the trappings of treatment and recovery, and that's important. So I posted essentially that you can move on, and that you have to let go of the addict and alcoholic identity and all that's wrapped up in that. And really what it all comes down to is this idea of loss of control, that somehow a drug, a substance, takes over the will of a human being, takes over the mind of a human being, makes it so free will and choice are non-existent. Now, the only way that is possible, we have to look at this philosophically because it's important. The only way that's possible is if a substance has intelligence. If it has intelligence, then we can talk about it in the realm that there's a battle to be had, because you have one intelligent agent, a substance, alcohol, drugs, pitted against you, and the drug wins. That's what the loss of control and disease model are predicated on, that idea. Cancerous cells are a disease. It's got pathology. You can look at it. It has genetic intelligence. It's changing. You can look at it in a microscope. You can see it, and it's a battle. A virus is alive. It has a motive. Its motive is to change your DNA and go in your body and feed off of you. Parasites, diseases. So when Bill Wilson concocted a single line that is repeated millions of times a day throughout the world, in the preamble and in how it works at the beginning of each meeting, this statement became the mantra of the loss of control theory. And that is that drugs and alcohol, and this is what he wrote, are cunning, baffling, and powerful. That's the philosophic mythology, the magic that Bill Wilson came up with. And those three words became truth. They're not true. They're not empirically true. Substances don't have a mind. So then people say, well, we know that. It's a metaphorical disease. I have a battle within myself, and my brain chemistry has changed. Which brings up the whole brain disease idea, because the regular disease, the metaphorical disease that Bill Wilson concocted, and that was pushed for 40 years, really wasn't falling in favor with the population in general. Most people were like, that doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't. It's just ridiculous. On its face, it's totally ridiculous. So they had to come up with drugs change your biochemistry. Here's the problem. Your drugs can't pharmacologically change the content of your thoughts. They can't change your will. They can't change what you want. When you get high and drunk, you do it because that's what you want. It's what you prefer at that moment. And it's okay to say it. That's really the only starting point that's logical. To sit around and say you're battling yourself, because you're not battling the drug. Remember, the drug has no power. It's not cunning, baffling, and powerful. It doesn't think. It doesn't have any capacity to do any of those things. So then you have to ask yourself, well, who am I fighting? If there's a battle with addiction, is it me? Are there two me's inside my mind? So, there aren't. There's choices that you're making. You're deliberating, and it might be a very difficult choice. You might like the benefits so much that you're willing to have the trade-offs. And if you get high, and there are high trade-offs, and you continue to get high, what that tells me, and should tell you, is that of course you're willing to pay, because that's what you've done. And that's okay. Own it. Because when you own it, and you start to realize you're the one in control, and always have been, there's no loss of control anymore. And then you can start to guide your own life to a different place. You can start to question the benefits that you see in drugs and the trade-offs you're willing to pay. We use the example of buying a house compared to an apartment. You know, there's trade-offs with a house. You have maintenance. You have all these things. In an apartment, you may not have that. You may have somebody that takes care of those things for you. So it's a decision like that. It's a decision of deciding what you want based on the benefits. Are the benefits real? Are the benefits of getting high real? Are you getting out of that experience what you think you're getting out of it? Now that's a whole different topic. But the point is there is no loss of control. There is no two minds. There's no duality within your mind going back and forth. What there is choice making. You're making a choice. And you're figuring out if the benefits are worth it to you. Now, when you're getting high, they are. Own it. Then you can start to decide, once you own it, and you let go of the guilt, and you say, okay, am I getting out of this experience what I thought I was getting out of it, what I think I'm getting out of it? Do I like it this much? And more importantly, would moderating or abstaining provide me greater benefits? Notice I'm not talking about costs here. I go over this over and over. Because our human motivation is driven by the pursuit of happiness. It's not driven by avoiding consequences. That never works. It'll work for a little while, but it doesn't have any staying power. So you're making choices. You're not losing control. It may feel like you're losing control because that's what you've been taught. It may feel... Sorry, I have some metal in the back here clinking around. Sorry if that's distracting on a bumpy road. It may feel like you're losing your mind even. But you're not. You're making a tough choice on something that's really, really, really valuable to you. Let me get out off this bumpy road here so I can not be distracted myself. Get out on the highway here. So let's let go of this idea that you lose control, that you're diseased, you're not making choices. Let's let go of this idea that brain chemistry drives thought, because it doesn't. It's the other way around. Neuroplasticity happens because of how you think, not the other way around. Chemicals don't change your brain and make you think something. That delves back into that cunning, baffling, powerful thing. But they got it backwards. Okay? They got it backwards. They're saying that biochemistry makes thoughts happen, and you're just willy-nilly going out a drug-taking zombie. But if you look at your experience, you're not. There are times you stop. There are times where the costs are so high you'll quit for a few days, months, years. Sometimes you don't even think about it, many hours of the day. Sometimes you've drank or gotten high and stopped midway through a bender and said, I don't want to do this anymore. Sometimes you've had a couple of drinks, a couple of hits, moved on with your day. Look back through your history. You are not a drug-taking zombie. Once you start, you can't stop. Only happens after you learn that concept and start to behave that way because you start to believe it. Look through your history. It's self-evident that drugs do not make you a drug-taking zombie, a substance-taking zombie. This is important. You've always had control. Now, here's a lesson, and I'm going to leave with this. It's one of the first lessons. It was the first lesson that was taught to me in 1989 by the original researcher, Jerry Brown. He said, I want you to do something, physically do something, without thinking about doing it first. And I thought, well, that's crazy. He goes, you have 24 hours to accomplish this. So I tried for 24 hours. I tried to pick up a cup of coffee without thinking about it. I'd be like, shoot, I just thought about it. And he said, you need to consciously do this and succeed at it. So I tried, and I came back to him and I said, I failed, Jer. I couldn't do it. He said, no, you succeeded. Nobody can. You've always been in control. Every single thing that you've ever done in your life, you had to think about doing first. It may have been a quick thought, but it was still your choice. Even taking drugs. And that changed my life. That lesson, it was brilliant. It was brilliant the way he did it. But that's when I realized that I wasn't a drug-taking zombie, and that everything that treatment and recovery was predicated on was absolute bullshit. If your foundation is nonsense, then everything downstream becomes infected by that nonsense. And the loss of control theory is a theory. And there's tons of research. So get the Freedom Model. The Freedom Model for Addictions. We go over all the research dealing with these issues and keep it very simple in your mind. Look back at your experience. It's self-evident that you're not a drug-taking zombie. Once you start, you can't stop. That's bullshit. It's nonsense. And you can move past this, and you can have a wonderful life if you have a change of preference. And that takes the proper information to make, though. You need to make an educated decision. And so go to the Freedom Model for Addictions. Go to thefreedommodel.org. Get your free copy. Use coupon code FREEDOM100. Get a copy. If you need more help, you can call Danny Wyke. Call us at 888-424-2626. You can we'll bring you to Danny, and you can have Freedom Model private instruction where you learn via Skype or Zoom from home, or you can come to our retreat. To learn more about our retreat, where people come for 2 to 4 weeks, you go to soberforever.net. That's soberforever, put those 2 words together, .net. And you can learn about the St. Jude retreat, which we've helped over 9,000 people move past this problem with the Freedom Model. So there's my little ad at the end, but these are important concepts for people. You can get over this. You can make a preference change, and you can move on with your life, and you will not be stuck in meetings. You'll never have to go to AA again. You'll never have to be in therapy again. Now, you can go to therapy if you want to, but the point is you don't have to when it comes to addiction, because it'll be over for you. You'll make a direct preference change without the battle. If that appeals to you, give us a call. 888-424-2626. All right, bye.